everybody. Welcome back to the Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast. I'm Dr. Stephen Cabral, board-certified doctor of naturopathy, founder of the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute. Excited to go over a book review today. This was actually recommended by one of our listeners of the show. They said, hey, have you ever checked out the book called Tuned In by Craig Stahl, Phil Myers, and David Meerman Scott? It outlines basically a 6-step process that I'm going to share with you here today in case you didn't read the book. Now, I had never heard of this book before, but I am someone that loves to read, very much enjoy learning from all of the knowledge of others. And remember, we only have one lifetime. The cheat code for reading books is really taking someone else's life that they've already lived. They've now put it into words in basically 200 or 300 pages. You can learn all there is to know, or at least a really good portion of their best stuff in one book for like $14. I think it's an amazing cheat. I really do in life. Once I learned about it, because truthfully, we're not taught about this. So yes, I read summer reading homework when I was a kid, right, in grade school and high school and all that. And then in college, I read all my college textbooks I needed to. But the truth is that it wasn't really till I was in college, 18, 19 years old, that I started reading about nutrition, personal training, like all these different things. And I said, whoa, someone who's been doing this for 10, 20 plus years has written down some of their best knowledge, their best stuff that I can just read in 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever time. And so again, I'm just a huge proponent of stick to your niche first. Read all that you can in that niche. You will be an expert by the end of a year. You honestly will, because even if you just read one book per month in your particular niche, that's 12 books. Just multiply that by 200. You have 2,400 pages, 3,600 pages. It's just more than the average person is going to read. So are you the expert of all experts? No. But are you an expert compared to 99 of 100 other people in that particular niche? Absolutely. Especially if you have a pre-certification, such as Integrative Health Practitioner, such as massage therapy, such as personal training, etc., where now you're adding on this knowledge from these books to your certification. So it's an even deeper foundation. But anyway, that's why, again, when someone recommends a book to me, as long as I'm even partially interested, I read 3 books or so a week, I'm going to check it out. So checked out the book, read it. Don't read a ton of business books anymore. Certainly did when I was starting to create my own practices, but I wanted to. And so I wanted to share with you the summary that I have for you, because I know not everyone's going to read this book. But of course, if you'd like to, you can check it out. It's called Tuned In, again, by those 3 authors. I'll link it up in the show notes at episode 350. That's just ihp.coach/350. That'll take you right over there. All right. So the 6-step process to creating what I call an on-demand coaching service for your clients, meaning like, well, what is in-demand, on-demand? So in-demand is a service that people actually want. Too many health coaches, personal trainers, chiropractors, estheticians, massage therapists, etc., they're creating services that only a couple people want. You want to create a niche service. So niche as in female hormones for women over 50, male muscle building for men over 40. Let's call it weight loss for anyone that has more than 100 pounds to lose, like really niching down whatever it might be. Now, so that is great, but you still, again, you want to provide a service that people honestly want. So let's go through that right now, okay? And then on-demand means, as an IHP and many others, you're able to provide it essentially when people want it, where they want it. So virtually or in your personal training studio, etc. So let's get into it. The first one is this: find an unresolved problem. So this means what? Identifying real problems in the real world that people have that they take time to try to figure out a resolution to. So what does that mean? I'm going to stick with what we try to really help with in IHP. That is getting well, so overcoming all health issues, autoimmune issues, etc. Then it's losing weight or gaining weight, and the majority of the world, over 2/3, want to lose weight. Only a small percentage want to gain weight. There's nothing wrong with that. You can absolutely make that your niche, like helping men and women put on muscle or size, whatever it might be. And the last step is essentially longevity and most people over the age of 40 are interested in anti-aging and longevity. Typically, as people start to move into their late 30s, early 40s as practitioners, then they start to say, oh, yeah, this is something I want to provide it to others. So first, find an unresolved problem, not 100 problems. Again, when you're first starting out, you might look at my practice and say, well, you help people with all issues. Keep in mind that you can do the same once you get busy and build out your niche, because it's easier for people to look at you an expert in one thing than to be an expert in all things. And that's challenging as well. And I'm not saying that I am. What I'm saying is that I've been doing this now for 25 years. And if you've only been doing it for a year or 2 years, niche first, and then you're just going to get referrals for everything anyways, right? So it's just easier. So let me just give you an example. When I had my first fitness-based location, we specialized in body transformation, namely weight loss. Why? It's because I knew that I had my clients, but I had to build out a team of personal trainers, and I gave them my nutrition as a certified nutritionist to help them. Well, here's the thing. I had to call out, this is what we do, and it's an unresolved problem. There's a lot of people that want it. We can do it at a very boutique and high level. That was my clientele. We didn't charge $39 an hour, like we were more boutique. And you know what? It worked exceptionally well. Here's why. Each personal trainer really only needed 17 to 20 clients for a full-time schedule. So that took me about 6 weeks to 12 weeks maximum to get them on average about 8 clients a week, and that booked up their schedule. And then I just hired the next one. So if you're doing the math, I hired about 4 personal trainers per year. That's basically what I did. And I continued to grow my business. And it was amazing because we helped a lot of great people. We had high retention. Everybody's happy. I got to pay my personal trainers better than anyone in the city. So I got to pick basically the best personal trainers. So again, but it all comes down to serving your clients and finding the one problem that you want to provide. Now, the reason I got into that is that I also then helped NFL and bodybuilders and all sorts of different athletes and other people, but it's not what we advertised, right? We advertised one thing and we became known for that, but then other people, of course, came. All right, so that's the first one. Find an unresolved problem. The second is to understand the different buyer or client personas. And what that means is that this is really where you develop your niche, right? So what's the unresolved problem? Let's go back to my first studio. The unresolved problem was people want to lose weight. Sometimes just 10 pounds, sometimes 15, sometimes 100 pounds. We help people lose over 100 pounds. Okay, so that's the unresolved problem. Now, the second one is this. Who's your niche? Who's your avatar? Well, when you're doing in person, which I was in Boston, it was easy because they basically just said, our demographic is the studio location and within a 10 to 15 minute maximum drive. That's it. And I even tighten that even more to just say, based on population density, it's really only going to be within 5 miles maximum. And I try to even do 3 miles of the studio. And so that was my particular area and demographic. And then the niche was individuals who were also entrepreneurs, stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home dads. They had the ability to also come to the studio during 9 to 5 hours. Now, we worked early in the morning, starting at 5, and we worked late at night until 9 o'clock. But we also were able to serve people during the day who were also staying home. All right. Now, the third part is this. You want to be able to what they call quantify the impact. So you want to evaluate the market potential by assessing how big the problem is and how many people are affected by it. Okay, so this is really important because there's a lot of people out there who want to create online courses and they want to do all these different things. Nothing wrong with that. But on average, it might take you 50 hours, 100 hours to create a really great online course. Let's just say 50 hours because probably people aren't going to spend 100 hours. But let's say 50 because it's going to take at least 50 because you're going to learn it, develop it, all these different things. And then you look at it and you say, okay, well, based on those 50 hours, what is my time worth on that, right? So let's say 50, you might put in, let's say you get paid $200 an hour. Okay, let's just say on average, that's your hourly. And so that would be what? $10,000, right, of your time. So when you want to look at that, if I'm doing 50 and I multiply by 200, I get 10. And that I'm at 100, add 2 more zeros, 1,000, 10,000. Yes. So 10,000 hours of your time or 5,000 hours of your time if you're being paid $100 an hour. So just think about that. That means then that you need to have 50 or 100, like whatever, and based on the price that you're paying, that many people in order to pay for your time. So I'll probably do this on a separate show about online courses, but let's just say that you are charging $97 or $100, let's call it, for your course, right? So you would need 100 people to sign up for that course to pay for all the time it took to create that online course. Not talking about ongoing customer support, just to create it. So you have to ask yourself, when you're creating that online course for whatever it is, what's the likelihood that you're going to get 100 people to sign up, right? Like that's the question mark. Because if you don't have enough followers, audience, or it's just local or whatever it is, there may not be 100 people that you can touch yet in order to pay that to make it worth your time. So it's starting to think about things like that. And then it's also like the impact. Okay, well, I help, you might just say like something really, really obscure. So I help only people with, and then name like a specific rare genetic mutation to do X, Y, and Z, and you're only local. So think about that. Maybe it's like 4 people in your entire surrounding town. So is that a big enough niche? So that's why do tackle a problem like hormones, digestion, skin issues, pain related, weight loss, all of those things. So the demographic has to be large. Sorry, let me say the goal has to be large enough. But also the demographic then has to be small enough to be a niche, but large enough that you can get enough clients. Now, when you're working virtually, the nice thing is there's almost no too small of a niche, because there's typically thousands to hundreds of thousands of people who want even a small niche. Now, the more you niche, the more then those thousands of people, even if they're only thousands, look to you as the expert. So almost there's no too small of a niche now that we're virtual. All right. Number 4 is this. Number 4 of 6 is to create a breakthrough experience. I love this one, and here's why. Think about everyone right now in the space doing what you do. Can you do it differently or better or with a little bit more pizzazz? Like what's your, as they call it, unique selling proposition, your USP, where you do it differently than anybody else? And so it's just something to think about. Now, I would say this, like as an IHP, you do it differently than almost anybody else. And that's because in the entire world, there's 5,000 IHPs right now, and only a portion of those are IHP level 2s. Now, the majority sign up for IHP level 2, but you need to complete it. And then you can use at-home lab testing with your clients. So now think about that. So there might be 120,000 health coaches, basically worldwide, mainly in the US, but you can work with the 3 billion people that are online. Okay. But now out of all of those health coaches, shrink that down to a few thousand that can use at-home lab testing. And then even less that are doing it online. So it is a nice niche and a breakthrough experience because there's no more guesswork now, right? I can tell you your vitamin deficiencies. I can tell you your mineral deficiencies, your omegas, your protein, whatever. And I can also show your toxicities in terms of gut health, etc. So really nice experience for the client. They know that it's science-based, that these are replicable-based results. They can quantify their results. They're more likely to buy into it. They're more likely to invest because it's a legitimate service. So breakthrough experience. Now, you may have your own. When I had my locations in Boston, first one being body transformation, what was my breakthrough experience? Well, we had a fat loss system that we named, so we trademarked it, and we guaranteed results. Nobody else was doing that back in the day. This is the early 2000s. We guaranteed your results. Meaning if you follow the program, you put in a real effort, your results are guaranteed. Nobody did that. That is a breakthrough experience. You know what? More than 9 out of 10 people got the results they were looking for. And the people who didn't, almost always, weren't following the plan and they didn't want a refund, and they also didn't want to stop training. They just knew that they weren't going to follow it to the degree that they wanted to, because they wanted to go out more and drink alcohol more and not do outside of, studio workouts, etc. And the truth is, that's okay too. Like, everybody wants what they want. We're here to serve. That's the truth. All right. Number 5 is this. I love this one as well. You need to be able to clearly explain what you offer. This was the number one thing that I help my mentorship clients with, but I also, truthfully, tried to teach all throughout the business mentorship experience at IHP. It's, you need to clearly communicate. And I'll be doing another follow-up show, but we actually did a podcast on this, on your elevator speech. You need to be able to give in under 30 seconds, but ideally in under 10 seconds, this is who I am, this is who I serve, this is how I do it. And like, really simply, really easy, this is who I am, this is what I do, it's who I serve, how I do it. That's really it. And if you can nail that, now you put it right in front of people on the homepage of your website, and they say, yes, this is me, or no, that's not me. You want them to either say, yes, it's me, or no, it's not me, because if it's yes, it's me, great, then they're going to sign up for that discovery call. So clearly communicate who you are, who you serve, what you do, and how you do it. So basically, the individual, their name, they help women over 50 years old rebalance their hormones, and then X, Y, and Z through their system, right? That's really what you're calling out. So call out who it is that you serve, and that can be really, really helpful. All right. The last one is this, is to be able to take feedback from your community, from the environment, from your customers, and also changing conditions and be able to pivot. So think about this. During the pandemic, there were spas and gyms and personal training studios and massage therapists and estheticians and hairstylists, all considered non-essential businesses, and they were shut down. Many of these businesses, unfortunately, went under. They did not and were not, truthfully, able to pivot fast enough. If they had a virtual component, and now that's really hard, right? With massage therapy and hair dressing. I know hairdressers out there were starting to make their own like hair coloring solutions and all sorts of different things that I heard. But what some people were able to do was pivot and do virtually. They were able to work with people as a personal trainer, with stretching, pain-based, health coaching, etc. Now, other people, it's not about completely pivoting your business, but it's saying, I am getting a lot of call to help people with this and this. This is something I may begin to offer. This actually may be more popular than what I'm doing right now, or this might be the biggest benefit that I wasn't even thinking about. So even though you come up with the best laid plan using this six-step process, the sixth step is don't be afraid to pivot. Don't be afraid to make minor adjustments. That doesn't mean blow everything up. It just means make minor adjustments in order to move with what your clients are really looking for. And I think that can be greatly beneficial. And, we did that almost just out of necessity and want as well. Part of it was always my passion. It was always my dream to go back to school, get my degree. Again, I'm not even saying that I'm the hugest proponent of that anymore. When you can become a certified health coach and essentially do the same thing, instead of doing 4 years, you can do 6 months, right? You can go level 1, level 2. But anyway, some people want to, and I think that's amazing as well. It's like, it's whatever your dream is, right? That's really what it's about. But my dream wasn't to go back to school. My dream was to help people. And back in the day, that's what you had to do. So my dream was to be able to help people with at-home lab testing, just like I got better. And so then I opened up a wellness center, and I was able not just to help people with body transformation, but then we had infrared sauna back in the day, and nobody was even doing this. We had Ayurvedic massage. We had functional medicine nutrition. We had the at-home lab testing. We had a whole curated wall of functional medicine protocols and nutritional supplements. Again, like before it was a thing. And so it was amazing, and I absolutely loved it. But it's somewhat not a pivot, just saying, yes, but this too. This is what people want. And it allowed us to go from helping 10,000 or doing 10,000 appointments a year to 20,000 appointments a year. And I'm not saying that's even the size of a business that you want to grow, because that has all its own headaches as well. But at least for you, you could go from doing 5 appointments a week to 10 appointments a week, or 10 appointments a week to 20 appointments a week. And all of these things absolutely can be done. So hopefully today's show was helpful. All of the takeaways, all of the links will be at ihp.coach/350. Head on over. That will give you all the details. And of course, if you're not already part of the IHP community, do feel free to download our brochure and curriculum completely free, and maybe even set up a call with an admissions counselor. Take care, everybody. Have an amazing rest of the day. We'll talk with you soon.